Hello everyone. Oh, my microphone's in the way. Can I get that out of the way? Come on, out of the way, microphone. Hello, welcome to anyone that's joining me. While you all pile in, I am just going to double check that it is working and I'm not sitting here talking to myself, which would be fun. Bear with me a minute. Pop a comment up if you're coming in so I know I'm not sitting here talking to myself. Oh, I can hear myself, so I'm obviously working. Awesome. Hopefully the volume's all right. I've had to... Let's get rid of those glasses for 1 second. I had to put my microphone in a different spot, and it's really in an awkward spot. I have to fix a better spot for it. Bear with me 1 second. I've just got to share this to a place, and then I'll say hello to everyone. So, welcome. What am I doing? Trying to share a video. Oh my God, I'm so out of practice with Facebook. Oh God. Okay. Is that actually working? Yeah, it is. It's just been funny. Why is it being funny? Because it's Facebook and it's technology. I don't know. Bear with me 1 minute, 30 seconds. I'll say hello to everyone that's coming in just a moment. Bear with me one little bit. I can see some comments, but I can't read them because I've taken my glasses off at the moment. I'll put them back on in a second. Welcome everyone to this lovely Saturday afternoon. Where am I going? I just want to double check that worked. And then we'll get started. Oh, what a day. I don't know why it's doing that. But that should be working. Okay, glasses on so I can read comments. Got my monitor at an awkward angle. Oh, I don't know. Who have we got coming in? Let me roll back to the top of the comments while I get organised. Hello, Margaret. We've got Tina, Bronwyn. Oh, Facebook, stop putting things up in my way. Hi, Tabitha. How you going? Oh, now I've lost my screen. Seriously. Facebook should stop changing the position of things. I just get used to it and then it just doesn't work. And this microphone is not really going to work here. Oops. Now I just took it out of its housing. Oh, seriously. I need to redo my entire desk setup. But that would involve actually thinking about what I'm doing and actually trying to get it more organised than just shoving everything on. I'm going to read comments through my microphone housing, which is going to be fun. Oh well. Let's just go with it because I've mucked around enough today trying to get this computer and camera to actually talk to each other. Technology talking to each other is not fun. So welcome to my Saturday live. I must apologise. I've been trying to do lives the last few months and life is just nuts at the moment. I look at the calendar on Monday and go, right, I'll do a live on Wednesday, and then the week just goes to hell in a handbasket, as they say. Oh, it's just fun. Nothing ginormous, just things happen. I'm the queen of rescheduling appointments. That's all I seem to do all damn day is reschedule appointments. And it's like a domino effect. One affects the next one, affects the next one, affects the next one. Yeah, fun. I need a holiday. That's what I need. A staycation. Won't have to deal with anything. Hi, Emily. How you going? Yeah, feel free to share this with someone. Because I can't even talk. With any of your crafty friends. God, it's going to be a good hour. I can tell you that now. So for any of the newbies, welcome. I'm Mel from Scrapbooking and I make stuff. I make a mess too. I make chipboard, stencils, cardstock, embellishment, stamps, and my daughter sells paper napkins on my website. So we're going to have a bit of a play with some of our new July releases. So our new July releases are all up on the website under New July 2023. So they're easy to find. And there's an automatic, don't have to do anything except place an order, discount of 15% off all the stuff until the 7th of July, which is next Friday-ish. Friday. So go along and grab a bargain. And we've also got free postage over $80 within Australia. So get together with your friends or crafty friends and place an order together and you can get free postage. And if you're from overseas, we do ship overseas. It is quite expensive because it's just life. Shipping overseas is really, really expensive. But again, get together with a couple of mates or friends, crafty friends, and put an order together, and we'll ship your order out to you. So I don't really know what I'm doing today. Surprise, surprise. So I've grabbed a few things, and we're just going to make a mess. No, we're going to make an art journal page. Let me get my mouse out of here. Mouse goes... Oh. I have deliberately cropped my camera in so you don't see the mess that goes beyond. Hi, Tabitha's kid. Hi, Miss Assistant as well. So I deliberately cropped it in so you can't see the mess bulging out beyond me. So Alexis has been out shopping for some beautiful napkins. She sells them on my site. If anyone's new, Alexis is my... How old is she? 15? Should be 16 at the end of the year. I don't have a 16-year-old. No. I don't have a 15-year-old. Well, yes, I do. My 15-year-old daughter sells napkins on my website, so every time we go out and about, we have to pick up some new ones. So I've grabbed Brie. Napkins are great to use in art journaling, and we sell them in a pack of 2, so you don't need to buy 20 of the one design. So you can get lots of designs for not much money. They start at a pack of 2 for 75 cents, which is a great bargain. So I picked a couple. I really don't know, as I said, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I want to incorporate something on the napkin because napkins are fun. Then I grabbed a couple of words. These are part of our new July release as well. These are out of black cardstock, so they're nice and thin for your art journal. I also make them out of chipboard. The other thing is if you see something on my site that you go, oh, I like this, but I'd prefer it in chipboard, which is what we cut most of our stuff out of. Anything on the website can be made in any other sizes, any other type of product. So for example, this can be made in white. I believe it is on white on my site. I don't think it's in chipboard, but you can always email me and say, can I have this particular word in chipboard? So I've got Find Your Happy Place, which I may use, or This Makes Me Happy. Grabbed a couple of stencils. These are all in packaging because I just went and raided my stash. I don't have any of these in my own stash at the moment. Haven't got any of them dirty. Terrible. I haven't had time to play lately. It's been busy. So I've got a couple of sort of mark making stencils. So I thought these dots would be fun to play with. Let's put this up here so we don't get an avalanche. This is what I grabbed from my main focal image. So this is again out of black cardstock. This is our lovely lady with her roses dress. So I thought we might have fun with her as our main focal image. I also grabbed a couple of other bigger stencils. So we have stencils right from 6x4 inch to 8x4. And then we've got 8x8, and then we've got A4 stencils. So we've got stencils in a huge variety of sizes. So I thought that might match the flowers, and I just grabbed that because I liked it. I don't know. Just watching comments. Hopefully it's working okay. I keep getting a note saying frame rate too low. I don't understand, so I think it's working. Then I also grabbed, obviously got my art journal. Well, this is a bit that come out of my art journal. It fell out, and my art journal expanded beyond its cover, so I've got this little bit of book I'm trying to use up. Grabbed some music paper, and I grabbed this little pack of handmade paper. Don't even know where this come from. Could have come from the craft a while ago, because I liked some of the patterns in it. So that was hanging around on my desk too. So we grabbed that. So let's start sticking some stuff. I think someone at the last Hillbilly Retreat gave me this music paper. Again, it was hanging around on my desk. Am I the only person that does that? Just sort of crafts with what's hanging around on their desk or what's left over from other projects? So this is cream cardstock, and I haven't done anything to the cardstock. This is actually from a Riot Art and Craft art journal. Particularly don't like the paper. It's just takes paints and stuff real well, but it doesn't like inks, spray inks and stuff. But it will work for what we're going to do today. So just tearing up some of the music paper. Why music paper? I don't know. Why not? Just going to stick some bits in somewhere. Let's turn that one. No, doesn't have music paper on the back. Let's not turn it over. So I'm sort of just throwing some stuff in the background, not really knowing what I'm doing. Making a mess. I'm sort of envisaging. Let's take this out of the paper. sort of envisaging my girl sort of here. So I sort of don't want to put a lot of heavy stuff sort of on this half of the page on, yeah, this bit here. And I want my title to go over here so I can be a bit more heavy-handed over here, I think. The packaging that comes in with your packaging, packaging that comes in your packaging. See, words. It's Saturday. Keep the white and black packaging because I like to use that. Sometimes I will stick my image to it and cut it out. Sometimes I will just use it as layers, so it's good stuff to keep. Okay, let's stick that down. Just watching comments. Do I have to... Sometimes I have to click on the comments to make the fresh ones appear. So if I miss your comment, I'm not ignoring you. I will catch up with it or ask again. So I've just got some Liquitex matte medium to stick down the... What are we sticking down? The music paper? Just grabbing a silicone brush. I just tip it straight on my page because it saves cleaning up something else. I like the Liquitex matte medium because it is more of a liquid and it's really good for thin papers. So I just put some down below, underneath. See, I can't talk today. Seriously. I put it on my art journal page where I want my piece of paper to go, spread it out, and then put some on top just to seal it. And if this is upside down, that would be not very good. Doesn't matter, you're not going to see most of the words anyway, so if I stick it upside down, it doesn't matter. I need some more. This particular art journal I'm working in, it's quite, the paper's quite thirsty, so it sort of soaks up whatever paint or medium you put on it, so usually you have to use a little bit more. Oops, just hit the microphone. So how's everyone's Saturday going? It's quite cold here in, I'm based in Bendigo, Victoria, for anyone that's new. Oops. Oh, well, that nearly landed on my jumper. So based in Bendigo, Victoria, and it has been quite cold lately. I don't have my heater on today because my heater, I have a craft corner in my lounge room, and the only heater / air conditioner is right above my desk, which is great, but also not great because I either freeze or I cook. Because, let's just thin that out. So I haven't got the heater on at the moment. Hence why I've got a jumper on. And who wants to put a heater on nowadays? It's too expensive. So just making sure this is nice and flat. Don't want any wrinkles in it. If you get wrinkles in it, doesn't really matter. Whoopsies. So I'm hoping to do some more lives the second half of the year. It's just, as I said, life's been blooming nuts. Looking at my calendar, it's not going to get any better, but I'm hopefully going to get better with it and more organised. Maybe be able to film some videos and put them up instead of lives. It's just, yeah, plans just go out the window. Especially when you're dealing with government departments or hospitals or specialists, they have no concept of you having a life. And they just send you appointments whenever, and it's just frustrating. That sometimes they erode my plans. As I said, I need a holiday. That'd be nice. Can I have a staycation, stay at home and not talk to anyone on the phone, not do any work, not do any paperwork? Whoops. Just sit there and craft. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? So just thinning that out. I don't want to run my heat tool too much today. It's a little loud, but if you thin this out really, really thin, see, words really are not my friend today. And a baby wipe. If you spread it out nice and thin, it dries really quickly. That's what I'm trying to get out. Come on, fingers. A bit cold today. Nothing wants to work. The brain doesn't want to work. Baby wipes don't want to come out and play. So that's why I like using a silicone brush, is I can just wipe off the gunk and it doesn't gunk up my paintbrushes. Hi Tracy, how you going? So only just started, just thrown some music paper on my page with some matte medium. Sorry, forget the word gel. I didn't use, what did I use? Matte medium. Okay, might just give that a quick dry with the heat tool. Actually, no, we're not, because I'm going to put more matte medium on it. I'm going to put some napkins on it. Okay, I was going to go to paint, but no, we'll go to napkins first. I've sort of got an idea what I'm doing for my page, but sort of not, which is usually how I start pages. Sometimes I have a product or something in mind, and I sort of obviously want to use my girl with roses. And what are we going to do? We're going to have her walking through a field of flowers, or we're going to put birds in the background. Let's put birds in the background. So these are a couple of paper napkins that are new release for the website this July. So Alexis, my daughter, loves to buy paper napkins and sell them on my site. She helps me pick orders, which is lovely. So I'm just going to move this book out of the way because I've got wet stuff on it. So when you get paper napkins, they're either what we call a 2 or a 3 ply. Basically, ply means layers. So usually you have one decorative layer and then you have one white layer. So you just want to separate, and you separate the layers, and you just want to work with the top layer. So often you can come to the corner and sort of just flick it with your fingers and it will come apart. Some napkins are easier to separate than others. The ones that have 3 ply, the first one comes off really easy. The second one is a bit harder to come off. Sorry, I was just texting my... not texting, checking what that text message was. It was rubbish, so we won't listen to that one where it was junk mail. Okay, so now we've got our one layer of our napkin. And what I want to do is check to see if it's one layer. I took some book text, and if you lay your napkin over the top, you should be able to almost read the book text underneath. If it's a bit more white, so I'm going to put this layer... put that white layer back there for a minute and do this, you can barely see the text. So if you're put your napkin over a book text or something and you can barely see it, try to get another layer off. I keep these white ones and add texture in my background. I can stamp on them. I can stencil on them gently. You can use them in a lot of ways, or you can use them as they're intended as napkins, the white ones. I've got... Let's throw that in there. I'm just trying to move a couple of things off my desk so I don't have another ledge. Okay. So, I'm thinking, do I want... Yes, I'm thinking I'll do it that way. Sorry, thinking out loud. Okay, so I'm going to use the water tearing technique. So, you can just tear napkins. So, I can, if I'm using a more of an abstract one, I can just... take it and tear it. But if you're wanting a specific piece, and I'm sort of wanting to put a bit across the top, so I'm sort of wanting to go sort of like this, I think. So I'm going to grab a paintbrush and I'm going to stick it in some water, and I just want it damp. I don't want it like dripping. And we are just going to sort of trace around where we want to split our napkin, and then you can gently separate what you want from your napkin. You don't want too much water, because the more water you put on your napkin, the more it will become fragile. And I'm not wanting a like a straight line. I'm wanting more of a curvy sort of naturally line. So you can sort of see that the napkin just comes apart. Didn't decapitate the bird, which was good. So now I've got a piece to go across the top of my art journal page. Let's put this one aside to dry for the minute. Then I'll cut some more of that one up. So this is ideal if you have specific images or parts of the napkin you want to use. Okay. Just feeling, this is how I test if my page is dry. I stick my hand in it. Okay, so this ideally is going to go across the top here, and then I want to add a little bit over here. So I want to take this harsh line off and just fuzz up this edge. Fuzz up. Yep, technical terms today. Just want to take that hard edge of this line. When you have hard edges on the napkins, they stand out a bit more. If you have the fuzzy edge or the torn edge, they tend to fade into the page a bit more. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. So you just got to be careful that that is not wet down there and I'm not putting any wet stuff. So I'm going to use the same matte medium. This matte medium is quite liquid, so it's really good for napkins, collage, paper, and I should have some paper behind my book so I don't slop stuff everywhere. Bear with me one moment. I knew I forgot something. This will work. Just grabbing a bit of scrap paper to put behind the next page of my journal so I don't slop stuff on the next pages. So this is just a bit of paper from the delicatessen. Oh, seriously. Words. So the paper I've just put behind, I'll answer your question in just one moment, Lisa. The paper I've just put behind is from our delicatessen here in Australia. When you go up to the counter, you can ask for, well, my daughter's favourite meat is cabana, so every time we go to the supermarket, we get cabana. I only keep the paper that is with cooked stuff. I don't keep any of the raw meat stuff, but it's really nice thin paper. Okay. I'll just grab... So Lisa just asked what brand of journal I'm using. I'm actually using... It looks a bit like a Delusions journal, but it's not. It's actually from Melinda and Craft here in Australia. Not sure where you are, Lisa. So I picked them up when they're on sale. I do like them, but I don't like them as well. The binding has not held up to my abuse of it. And the paper is great for acrylic paints, but it's not good for sprays. So that's the art journal I'm using. This bit is a little bit that has actually fallen out of the journal because I put too much stuff in it and the binding fell apart. So probably wouldn't recommend the Melinda and Craft ones. They're a good budget one as long as you don't want to use sprays and you don't mind your art journal falling apart. So I would invest in the Delusions ones. I do like to try out different stuff, and sometimes you find a more affordable product that works really well. Sometimes you find a cheap product that doesn't work very well. And I just found these journals aren't quite what I expected them to be, but they work well for paint and this sort of stuff, but not for your sprays. Okay, so I've just put a thin layer of the matte gel medium down. You've got to be very careful with the napkin because it is quite fragile when it gets wet. And then I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of matte gel medium. Let's just squirt some on my book because I don't use a paint palette, something else to clean. You're going to gently go over the top and you'll see that book paper actually coming through the napkin. So napkins are very, I'll get the right word, translucent when they go on your page. So whatever is white on the napkin will almost disappear. So you don't want to overwork your napkin. You sort of only want to go over it once, sort of starting from the middle and going out. Just want to make sure I get it in the crease of the binding. And you just want to make sure your brush is got, hang on. And this is probably not, do as I say, don't do as I do. Try not to move it once it's down because it can tear really easily. Whoops. So napkins are so much fun to play with and quite affordable. We have them starting in packs of 2 for 75 cents. So when I say a pack of 2, you get 2 of the same design. So often on a napkin, you'll get 4 panels. Well, you will get 4 panels. So for this particular one, you get 8 panels of flowers. So you get loads of napkins to play with, or loads of images. The reason I like to sell them in a pack of 2 is I say 1 napkin to practice with or stuff up with and 1 napkin to get it right. If you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Master napkins, you can master rice paper from any other company because it's a bit thicker and you stick it down exactly in the same way. It's not as opaque. And I want a little bit to go up here. So I'm going to grab my napkin again. Just going to make sure I have it down here, so I want a little chunky bit to go up here, so I've sort of got it going across my page up there somehow. So if you got any questions, don't hesitate to pop them in the chat, and I will get to them if I don't get to them straight away. If I do miss it and there's more chat below it, just pop it again. Sometimes the chat runs really fast and I get carried away, so I'm just using the water brush to separate some more. And sometimes I get carried away and forget to look up at the chat. Is that enough to put up there? Yeah, that'll be enough to put up there. So as you can see, I've only used probably about half a napkin on this page. So your napkins go, oh, I don't want to put it there on top of my heat tool. Your napkins go a fair long way. What is my shop called? Hang on 1 second. It's the same as the Facebook business name. So this is our website. So it's scrapbooking, the letter N, then the word craft.com.au. I'll see if I can type in the chat. We've got social media, we've got YouTube and Instagram, all under the same Scrapbooking and Craft. I'll just got to go to my computer keyboard. Hang on, bear with me 1 minute. Just make sure I typed that in correctly. My keyboard is just a fair way, or not a fair way, a little distance from where I'm sitting. Where'd my comment go? Oh, there we go. Oh, thanks, Lisa. There's loads of stuff. And I also do custom stuff as well. So I do a lot of custom words for people. Kids' names, place names. You'll see some place names on the website. Usually when someone asks for it, someone else will ask for it eventually. So it goes up on the site. And everything on our site is made and manufactured, well, apart from the napkins, by me in Australia. So it's really cool to support an Australian business too. So I'm just going to stick that down. And just again, over that, oh, I've just got matte medium on one of my cords. Oh my God. I'm just a messy person today. I do have bits hanging over the edge, but I'll take care of those in a minute. And you wouldn't know that I've actually had two pieces stuck together there. Okay. Now I'm going to put my brush that I was using straight in water. Otherwise, I will ruin another brush. Okay. Oh, let me get rid of some of these pop-up windows. My computer keeps throwing pop-ups at me, which is not so helpful when I'm trying to do stuff. Okay. So while that's drying up the top, let's add some paint down the bottom, and then I'm going to bring some of the paint up the top and sort of combine it in, but I'm liking that. What I want to do is, the music paper is quite square, so I want to add some paint over the top to sort of hide those edges, because that's not really the look I was going for. Let me give that just a little bit of a dry. Just mainly wanting to dry the bottom, so if I bring the paint up, I don't accidentally go into the wet napkin and tear it more. Okay. Lisa, you're bored. Hopefully I'm not making you bored. And I'm just going to take my jumper off. Hopefully then I don't get cold and want to put it back on. There we go. No longer got blue arms. I get a bit like that when I'm watching lives. I will tend to put someone on the background and then craft along, and it feels like you've got someone in your craft space talking to you. Well, that's what I think anyway. Okay, now let's look at colours. What am I going to do? No idea. I did pick some colours that were sort of in the napkins. Let's not procrastinate too much with colours. Have I got two of the same? No, slightly different colour. Okay. don't know. Sort of trying to pick up the colours in the napkins, and actually what I might do is add some of that pattern paper first, and then I'll give me a better idea of the colours. So I want to add a bit more colour down here, so I'm going to use these. Yes, cleaning up your art space always words. I didn't have a really good sleep last night. Yes, cleaning up your art room always wants you to stop and craft. I can't talk today. Seriously. I think I'm tired in anticipation of going out tonight. My daughter is dragging me out to our local park in Bendigo. Has a light display show for the school holidays. And we've been looking at the temperature each night, deciding which is the warmest of the nights we're going. Because it's going to be cold. But we will go out. And that one sort of goes. So just looking at... These are just some sort of handmade-y, marbledy paper. Definitely not that one. Oh, I like that one. Not the green. Just want to add a bit more colour before I add my paints. Actually, that might be nice. Why I choose things to put on my art journal page. Sometimes they're sitting on my desk from the last project. Sometimes it's because it sounds like a good idea in my head, and then in reality it doesn't. So art journaling for me is all about the process of... Which way do I want these things to go? I don't know now. Art journaling for me is all about the process of doing, not the final piece. So if I play around with this for an hour and a half and then sort of decide, ew, what was I thinking? And don't like the final piece, it doesn't really bother me. Yes, I like to make things that are pretty, and yes, I like to not embarrass myself live. And make a mess, but a blue Tracy. Yes, I think of putting some of this in, it will pick up the blue in the birds. Yeah, so for me, art journaling is more about the process of getting messy, taking time out of my day and playing. Especially when I've had a stressful day dealing with government departments, I'll put it that way. They can make your day super stressful. So I like torn edges better, so I'm just making sure I've got torn edges that aren't touching the edge of my page. And torn edges seem to sort of disappear into your page a bit better than non-torn edges. That's what I'm trying to spit out. As I said, I can't talk today. I do like this paper though. This is really cool. And because we like threes, let's tear a third chunk and put it somewhere. Let's maybe over here, because we're going to have our person sort of here. I want to add some of this in. This is too much here, so let's get rid of some of that. I tend to procrastinate quite a lot, so let's just like it where it is and stick it and glue it. Try to stick and plonk more than procrastinate. Now this paper's slightly thicker, so I'm going to grab... Trying to use up bits and pieces lately, so this is hopefully still going to work. This is acrylic soft gel medium by Little Birdie. Now I haven't seen this around for ages. I was getting it from Lincraft. Yes, I'd love Liquitex all the time, but in reality sometimes my budget does not allow it, and I like trying new things. So if I can find something that's decent and does the same job as something more expensive, why buy something more expensive? But this is a bit, even though it says matte, it's a bit shiny, but it's a bit thicker, so it's a gel medium, and it's great for thicker sort of bits of paper or more weightier papers. I wouldn't use it on the napkins because it's, as you can see, it's a lot thicker and it would tear the napkins. Oh, I should have stuck this one down before I stuck that one down. See, I shouldn't, because I want to hide that edge under there. Ugh. The thing about gel medium is it's a bit forgiving. You can pull things up if you're really quick. So I'm on a mission this year to use up all my bits and pieces of little things I've got around, like little tubs of gel medium and stuff. Because it does have a shelf life. This one has been around for a while and it's getting a bit thicker than it should. Neglected craft supplies are not good. You need to get into your stash and use them up. Especially anything that's an adhesive or a liquid. My sort of stuff hangs around for ages, so you can buy my stencils, stamps and cardstock and napkins and neglect them all you like, and they'll still be there when you come back to it. But things like mediums and liquids just don't like to be neglected. And I'm trying to be good and put all my stuff away where it's supposed to be after I've finished a page or a project, so I can find it the next time I want it and not go buy or open a new jar, which I have been doing lately, because things just get tossed off my desk, so my desk can be used for other things and they get lost. So again, I'm putting some of the gel medium underneath and then on top just to seal the paper in. Dries clear, so it won't affect the won't give it a glossy look or anything. I'm going to put paint over the top of this anyway. Oops. I can always trim the edges down if I don't get it right on the edge. Liking the base of that. Now let's bring some colour into it. Some paints and some stencils. So most of this might get covered up, but hey, that's okay. I don't know where I'm putting stuff, so that's all right. So hopefully, Lisa, you find something to do. I often sit and stare at my blank journal page and go, now what? I don't know. Don't know what I want to do. Because sometimes it's hard to stare at a blank page and know where to start. So I tend to pick like a focal image or a napkin or a couple of paints to start, and then I'll go, oh, something else will go with that, something else will go with that. Let me give that a quick dry. Oh, it's still a bit sticky. Oops. I'm going to pop these paper scraps back in this little bag where they come from. Okay, now we're going to add some paints. This is going to be the fun bit. Now I'm going to finger paint because I like... Oh, Lexi, you're getting started. Cool. Music paper down now for some napkins. Oh, napkins are so much fun. I'm a bit obsessed with napkins. I've been collecting napkins for years and years and years. And at one stage, Alexis saw my collection and said, Mum, do you really need 20 of each napkin? It's like, not really, Alexis. And then she goes, well, I could sell some on your website and make some pocket money. And she was learning about business as well. So it's been good. She learnt the word profit way too often, though. Way too quickly. Okay, now I'm going to start with a lighter colour first, and then work up to darker, I think. And I sort of want to fuzzy up the edges, yep, technical terms, of the papers to tie it all in together. Okay, let's go with this one. So I've grabbed a bunch of Dina Wakley Delusions Distress paint. I don't tend to stay within the one manufacturer. I tend to look at the colours and I'll pick it by the colour. So all acrylic paint goes well together. It could be Kaiser Craft, it could be Jo Sonia, it could be Paper Artsy, it could be any brand of paint. Acrylic paint, as long as it's acrylic, will all play nice together. So I tend to look at what colours I've got. I want to get some more distress paints. They're really fun to play with. I haven't played with them much. I'm just going to put my book on an angle. So I've just put some dots on my page. Again, I don't use a palette because, oh God, that's something else I have to clean. And the reason I like using my finger is, A, I can get a really nice thin coat and I don't get brush marks. B, I'd have to wash a paintbrush. And C, I like the tactileness. Is that the word? Probably not. I like the feel of paint on my fingers. Some people don't. My 15-year-old hates the paint on her fingers and always has to use a paintbrush. We're so opposite. It's so funny. Yeah, so just sort of putting it in places, and we've got a little blob of gel medium there, to hide the edges of the paper, if that makes sense. So going up and over the paper a little as well, not just stopping right at the paper. And I must admit, I usually, when I'm crafting and not on lives or videos, my book gets turned so many times that I'm trying to keep it in the one spot for you guys, because it makes it a bit easier when I'm filming. Oops, a bit of that gel medium's balling up. I can tell it's getting old. So I sort of want to bring my colours up into the sky as well. The reason we put the napkin down first is because I sort of wanted it lighter in the background. Now, if I'd done my paint under where the napkin goes, you will see all that darkness through the napkin, and you'll sort of lose a lot of the design. So you've got to sort of, when you're working with napkins and the translucent papers, is bear that in mind. When I stick it over a darker surface, I'm going to lose some of my colours. So if you want the napkin to be really bright, stick with a more lighter background. Clear as mud, right? Yeah, clear as mud. Lisa, I'd love to see what you do, if you do feel like posting. If you come across from the Hillbilly Scrapping Facebook group, Hillbilly Scrapping is another Australian business if you've just come on from my Facebook page. And Jen from Hillbilly Scrapping and I work together a lot. I teach at her events. I teach at her virtuals. I teach classes. I love teaching classes, and I love watching people grow within their art. And I love watching people take my initial idea and run with it and make it so much better sometimes. And sometimes they will come up with a concept that I haven't thought of and go, "Ooh, I like that idea." So now we're just going in with Distress Paint. I should tell you the paint colours. The first one was Distress Paint Wild Honey. I get all my paints and all my supplies from Hillbilly Scrapping. She's a fantastic business, and she has just relaunched her website. She's just moved to Hervey Bay, lucky her, and just relaunching her website this weekend as well. So pop on over to Hillbilly Scrapping. And if you want to share any of the work, Lisa, if you're part of the Hillbilly Scrapping, Hillbilly Scrapping, wrong one. Hillbilly Shenanigans Facebook group, you can share your work in there. It's a great community. I post in there all the time of what I've done using both Jen's and my stuff. And it's fun to see. Oh, you're definitely posting the group. Great, Lisa. I love to see what people have come up with and different ideas, and often go, "Oh, that's a good idea," and can steal the idea. Not liking this green so much, but let's just go with it. And we can... Sometimes I pick the wrong colours. I'm renowned for picking the wrong colours that don't really go together. That's right. That colour might blend it out. In my defence, it was green up in the leaves. Let's take some of that green off, actually. Let's knock it back a bit. That's a bit better, except where... So the advantage of the gel medium over your papers is if you put too much paint on, you can, what we call, knock it back, or take a baby wipe and wipe some of the paint off. These darker areas here are the raw cardstock. So the paint's grabbed and held onto the raw paper more, and I can't wipe it back, but that's okay. Okay. Let's give that a bit of a dry while I think. Okay, let's bring some, is that the right pinky orange? Probably not. I couldn't find the actual orange colour I was looking for. I don't know what I've done with it. Blushing, actually blushing's a bit better. So this is Dina Wakley blushing, so that almost matches the little flower colours. Let's bring a bit of that in. And see if we can't make it not look like a dog's breakfast. Might bring some stenciling in as well in a minute. Now I'm just thinking how I'm going to connect the top and the bottom. I think I'm going to go in with some similar colours in watercolour. That's what I'm thinking, whether it's going to work. Oh, Lisa, if you tag me as, it's Mel Johns in the Hillbilly Shenanigans group, because I think I'm under there, under my personal name, not my business name, Scrapbooking and Craft. Hang on. What did I post under? Oh, I'm posting in here under Scrapbooking and Craft. Yeah, Mel Johns, you'll notice when I share into the group, I share under that name as opposed to the business name, because that's how I joined the group. It's weird. My actual name is Melinda, but when I joined up to Facebook years and years ago, I decided I wasn't putting my real name on Facebook. So I shortened it. Okay. Now, I was just having a feel up here to see if I could feel that there was matte medium on the raw paper, or whether it was just raw paper, but it looks like there's matte medium down to here. I can sort of feel the difference of the paper. Oh, I've got sticky hands. Okay, so I'm going to grab just some watercolor paints. Am I going to use this one or the other one? Let's see what colors this one has. These are actually from Aldi. I found these a couple of years ago. And I only use watercolors to muck around in my art journal, so I didn't want to pay for an expensive set, and these work just as well. Definitely going to do some stenciling down the bottom, because at the moment it looks like a dog's breakfast, but we're going to. It's going through its ugly stage, but hopefully it'll come out the other side. If not, you've watched me for an hour to make an ugly page. Just going to pull this napkin off. This is a lazy way of doing it. Once your napkin's dry, if you've got any hanging over the edge, I just basically pinch it and tear it, and it comes off. Yes, I could get scissors out, but this works just as well. You might notice I'm a bit of a lazy crafter. If I can use my fingers instead of paintbrushes and throw my paint straight on my page instead of on a palette, I am hate cleaning stuff. Okay. Now, not that paintbrush. This one's probably going to work. Okay. I've probably got a bit of matte gel medium in my paint water, but it'll work. It doesn't have any paint in it, so it'll work. Okay. So I think I'm wanting to... Probably not that colour. Okay. Let's go a lighter colour. I can always go darker. Being indecisive. I'm the most indecisive crafter there is. So I want to add a bit more water. Liking that. Actually, where's my spray bottle? Might just give my page a light spray and then the watercolours will move a whole lot better. I didn't want to use acrylics up here because acrylics are more opaque, and I'll sort of lose the colours in the napkins. But using a watercolour, because they're quite translucent, will work. And this is about my extent of watercolouring ability, whacking paint on a page. I sort of want to bring some, as it comes down, I sort of want to bring some orange into it. So let's see how we do that. The only thing I dislike about this little palette is when you want to get to the top ones, it's like, it's hard sometimes to get to the top colours. You've got to manoeuvre the palettes around. But it's a good travel one. And the colours are nice and bright. So I want to bring a bit of orange. More like a gradient down into a bit more of the colours. I did tell my daughter I was doing a live. That better not be her texting me from the bedroom. No, it's don't, Mum. Do your teenagers do that? Text you from one end of the house to the other? She'll text me, when's dinner? What's for dinner? I text back, food. Oh, it's funny. Teenagers. So those colours are combining quite nicely. So once you've sealed your napkin, and this is the reason I like to seal my napkin over the top as well, because any of this watercolour, if I put too much down, can be wiped away. It will soak into the... That's too dark. It'll soak into the napkin if you don't seal it over the top. Now I'm just making a mess. As in, trouble with the audio, Rosie, is it, am I too quiet, or is it sounding funny, or is it cutting in and out? The internet has been terrible the last few days here. I'm with Optus and they're blooming terrible. Just adding a bit more of that colour down here. I've just moved my microphone a bit closer to my mouth, so hopefully you don't see it in the screen. And hopefully I put the right settings on my... Oh, that was the wrong colour again. Why do I keep going into that dark orange? Because it just wants to be used on the page. These are not the colours I traditionally use, which is interesting. But I tend to not like oranges and pinks. Let's put a bit more up here. So this mini class, or this, I suppose, demo, or watch Melinda make a mess, will be recorded. So if you come in late or miss the start, you can re-watch the video once I end the live. Facebook puts it up on my Facebook page and saves it, so you can always go back and re-watch it. Okay, just got to leave these watercolours open to dry. Let's see if I can put them there and not getting into a mess. Okay, let's give that a quick dry. Oh, it's your phone, Rosie. Sometimes if you're having issues, and my phone, and I desperately need a new one, but I like where everything is on my phone and it semi-works. Sometimes if you go completely out of Facebook, open up the browser again and go back into the live, it fixes itself. Sometimes when I play a YouTube video, I get sound and no picture because my phone is just having a hissy fit. Just because it can. Okay, I'm liking it. I'm not hating it, which is a start. Okay, let's have, and I think the black is just going to look gorgeous. Now, the question is, do I want to put something behind her skirt? Or because she's going to go sort of there-ish, maybe. Something behind her skirt, as in a piece of pattern paper or coloured paper, just to make it different. Where was that pack of coloured paper I had? Let's have a look to see if, and I've just got to be careful, I've got wet paint all over my page. Definitely not those ones. Let's get rid of that packaging. Definitely not. Oh, I love these papers. Gonna have to use these in something. What are in the same colours? That could possibly work. Not blue. Not that one. Not that one. No. So it's that one or nothing, I think. Often I will... Well, is it going to fit? Oh, is it meant to be? I want to get some of that gold in there if I can. Or is it going to make it too dark? Actually, I do like it like that. Decisions. Oh, thanks, Rosie. Oh, thank goodness your tablet is charged. Yeah, as I said, it's not my choice of colours, but I am liking it. As I said, I'm not hating it. Let's do some stenciling because we can. I really wanted to use this stencil, but I think it's too big. But if I only use a little bit of it, it may not be too big. But I think I'm going to use it in the backwards way. But with what colour? Maybe black. That could work. And I might just scare you all in a minute with what I do with it. If you haven't seen backward stenciling, or what I call backward stenciling, let's pop that up there. Let's do that. Let's dry the page off. Okay, I think that's all dry where I want to do it anyway. Okay, did I grab black paint? That is the question. Because we've got a main black element over this side of the page, I want to sort of bring some black over here, over to the, that's the left-hand side of the page. Did I grab black paint? No, of course I didn't. 1 second. I didn't think I'd be using black. Lucky my box of paints isn't that far away. I need to get my desk set up so I've got all my paints and all my things sort of around me like I see other people's desk setups like. I just haven't found the right shelving or the right things to put it in yet. Okay. Let's open up this stencil. Oh wow, it's 3:10 already. Yes, we'll be definitely done by 4 because then my daughter and I have to get ready to go out tonight and freeze. Oh, I don't know, silly things we do as parents. Go around walking around at night looking at lights. So I want to grab another baby wipe to have one ready. We'll grab another baby wipe too. Okay, so we're about to do some reverse stenciling. So traditionally you put your stencil down, you grab a makeup sponge or a blending tool and you put paint through the stencil. We're going to put paint down first and then remove it through the stencil. And I sort of want to do a bit here, a little bit here. Maybe a little bit here. Sort of to mimic the border up the top to a border down the bottom, but not really a straight border. I don't know. Clear as mud, right? Okay. So this technique only works on top of a sealed page, as in gessoed page, or sealed as in matte gel medium, or sealed with acrylic paint. So if you try to do this technique on raw paper, it won't work. Okay. Yeah, okay. So basically, you want to do this technique, you want to put paint down where you want to put your stencil. You're probably thinking, what's she doing? First time people see this, they never have a heart attack, but it is a fun technique. And it's getting a different look out of your stencil. So it's probably a bit too much paint, but we'll go with it. Put a little bit here. And you've got to be really quick. You've got to do this when your paint is still wet. And okay, so now I want to stick my stencil over here. Take a wet baby wipe and wipe the paint off. And you go through a few baby wipes, and I put a bit too much paint up here, so we're getting into a whole lot of bother. And I'm wanting to wipe down, which is not working with my stencil, because I'm not wanting to wipe the black up beyond where the stencil is. So I'm probably doing things the hard way. Let's have a flip. That's not what you want to do. Don't move your blooming stencil. Oh, I think I've just... Oh. Bah humbug. Okay, let's try that section again. Let's try get through here before it dries. I had far too much paint on that first bit. And we just want a little bit here. God, I make a mess when I do stuff. Okay. Not entirely what I was looking for, but it'll work. I might go over the bits that I don't like with a paint pen. Let's try that again down here, but not put as much paint down. A bit more than that. So if this was just on raw paper, I couldn't wipe it off. Much better amount of paint. And now I need some more baby wipes. I'm going to have black fingers when I go out tonight. I often go out and I'm covered in paint. This is probably not the best stencil to do it with because it's cool. But we're going to make it work. You just want to keep moving your baby wipe because you don't want to wipe paint where you don't want it. And this is a new pack of baby wipes, so they're quite juicy, which is probably not ideal. I probably should have pulled a few more out of the packet and let them sort of... Okay, it'll work. I think once it dries, it'll look a bit better. Now I've got black. Let's dry this one off a bit. And it's faded a bit, so I'm liking that a bit more than I did before. Sometimes I wreck things. I think it's a good idea. And then I go to do it and it ends up being a disaster. I'm just going to clean the black off my stencil. I don't tend to clean a lot of my stencils unless I'm using texture paste. Just because, again, I'm lazy. But there is a fair bit of black on this one. I will clean it off just a little. Sometimes it makes your stencils a little bit stronger if you have a coat of paint on them. You just want to make sure it's not goopy paint and clogs up any of your holes. A bit of paper towel. Those baby wipes are very juicy, which is good. Okay. Sort of the effect I wanted. Okay. So now I can sort of ground her with the black so she doesn't look like she's floating, which is really good. Oh my god, look at my hands. Where did I put my other stuff I was going to use? Oh, I was going to do some stenciling. More stenciling down the bottom. And I had some words. Let's see. Is that going to fit? No, I think we're going to have to make the other one. This is bugging me a bit here. This tree branch starting in the middle of nowhere, which is not ideal. Those kind of things might not bug you, but they do bug me. I don't like things floating. I like things to be grounded or connected to something or coming from the side of the page or something. So this really has been bugging me for a while. So if we do something like this, it should... I don't have black on my nose now. I've just wiped my nose with black paint on my hands. It should look like the branch is growing up from the word, which will hide that bit. Okay. I think we need to do some bit more stenciling sort of in here, but really subtle. Maybe we'll bring some white back into it. What have I got here that's subtle? Which one will we do? Go dots. And I'm going to grab a makeup sponge. And not that one, I want a wedgie one. There we go. And I think I'm going to clean up this down here with a bit of paint pen, because I'm liking the effect, but I'm not liking how it looks, if that makes sense. Let's do some... What have I got in the way of white over here? White gesso, that'll work. I'm going to do a few spots-y things, I think. So I've just got my white gesso in a Vegemite jar. We eat that much Vegemite in this house. It's not funny. And the jars are really cute. So when my larger bottles of gesso or stuff get only a small amount left in them, I'll transfer them to smaller jars. A, it's smaller to sit on your desk. And B, it takes all that air out of the jar. And this one's half empty as well. And it stops your products from drying out. So that's a good tip. If you've got like a huge jar of gesso, you can put it into a smaller jar when it only gets a small bit left. I've just grabbed a Kmart makeup sponge and I put a little bit of gesso on the side. I've put my sponge into it, but I'm tapping off on the side to work that paint into the sponge. I don't want a big blob on my sponge because my stenciling won't be as perfect as I'd like it. So this gesso is a bit translucent, so these white dots are not going to be like opaque white, which is not the look I'm going for. I'm just wanting to bring some subtleness of white back in because we lost all our white. I'm not very good at leaving white space. And then we'll add some of the small dots. Ooh, I like how that small dot come out. Haven't used this stencil yet. Haven't used a lot of the stuff in the new for July section. I'll have to play some more. Just don't have time to play lately. I've been working too much. I'm sure I'm going to have loads of orders to pack on tomorrow. Ooh, I like that bit of white. I think that's calming this down too. Oh, I think that's going to become one of my favourite stencils, these little white dots. So he's getting the paint pen out and doing it. Okay. Just going to give that a quick wipe with the paper towel. Okay. Now, do I want to add that under her dress? I'm still thinking about it. No, I don't think I will, because I like her dress the way it is. Does need some more stuff here. What have I got? I want it to be subtle, so I'm looking to see if I've got inks next to me. Ink pads. I've got black, which is the colour I don't want. I must have put them away. Really? I put stuff away? Terrible. So what I'm thinking it needs is a bit of a black border. Let's do that. And then I'll think on it some more. How am I going to do a black border? I'm going to sponge a little bit around the back. Sponge a little bit of black around the edge just to give it a defining border. And that'll help to bring a bit of black up the top as well. Again, putting my sponge in but dabbing off. And I just want to give it a bit of a... Oops. Not come in that much. Give it a little bit of a black border to... that's looking better. Now... I'll turn my book around so it's easier for me. Told you my book gets turned around. Don't want to put that much paint up there. Let's see if I can take that off. That's better. So I could have done this with an ink pad, or there's a bit of tissue I want to take off, but I think that's just giving it that edge. And it brings you to that black up the top here too. Was looking a bit black heavy down the bottom. Can I do it this way? Rosie, and I'm supposed to use all the things you buy. Well, I heard on the grapevine that buying craft supplies and actually using craft supplies are two different hobbies. I'm guilty of that too. I could probably craft the rest of my lifetime and not have to buy paper, or obviously stencils last a long time, just replacing adhesives and stuff like that you run out of. But yeah, I'm sure most of us are like that. They could, we could craft for a very long time using our current stash. But in my defense, I have to buy it for work. That's what I tell myself. Because I have to have stuff to go along with my products. That's how I justify it anyway, but I'm terrible. But I'm guilty of seeing someone's page or seeing someone's project and then wanting that particular product. And I have my eye on the new art by Marlene stamps for that exact purpose. She did the class, and I really like the tree stamp. I was umming and ahhing about the bath stamp, but then when I was seeing what people have been doing with it, it's like, ooh, that's really cool. So now I think I have to have the bath one as well. I'll probably end up with them all. Eventually. Okay, I think that black has really tied the black images in. I've got white paint on it. Oh, seriously, can't take me anywhere. I got white paint on my black person. Seriously, can't take me anywhere. Let me do anything, I get stuff everywhere. If you can hear a bit of noise in the background, Alexis has got up and playing in the back of the lounge room. So if you hear clink, 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 Alexis is playing with Lego. She might yell at me in a minute. Okay, so these shapes are reversible. So there are, the black one's not so much noticeable. So they are laser cut. So there's sometimes if it's a white shape, you'll see just little burn marks. But if you do want to reverse the shape or turn it the other way than the way it comes in the package, just if it's a white shape, coat it with a bit of white gesso. If it's a black shape, obviously coat it with black gesso. So all the shapes are reversible. Obviously the words aren't, because then the words will be back to front. Okay. Yes, it definitely needs something up here. Just going to grab some inks. See, I do have some stuff organised. Okay, inks. These are all my inks. I sort of want to put some pattern up the top, but be really subtle. That's green. I don't want green. Maybe orange. So I'm going to do some stenciling up the top. Let me see. Oh, that's too dark, but I'll grab it anyway. So you never know. Where are my other ones? Now I know where my other ones are. Okay, let's pick some colours out of here. Maybe that. I've just realised my other ones are still in my stuff I haven't unpacked from the last retreat I was at. Naughty girl. Green, no. Hang on. What am I trying to do? I want it in here. Do I have a pink? It might be too pink. Oh, this one. I'm going to have that tray. So I have got some of my stuff organised, just not a lot of it. So I'm going to grab a blending brush. These are fantastic to work with inks and stencils. And I want to put a bit more detail in the background, but I want it to be subtle. Let me get rid of this black paint. And let me clean up that because my hand's about to go in it more than likely. Which wouldn't surprise me today. I usually end up with paint all up my... I have got paint up my elbows. When I craft. Often I don't notice it's there and Alexis goes, Mum, you got paint up your elbows. It's like, okay. Now. What stencil am I going to use? Do I want dots? Actually, I'm wondering, this may not work and may end in a disaster, but I'm wondering if I can use this. Sometimes I have these brilliant ideas and they're not so brilliant. Just sort of in really subtleness, which would probably mean this one. Because this stencil is sort of like a mask, so I'm sort of colouring in the background. Or do I want... Now let's go for it. What's the worst could happen? I could stuff it up. And you'll all probably yell at me, don't do it, Melinda. You'll stuff it up. That's right, I don't tend to listen anyway. Oh, God. Some days I wonder. Okay. So I'm just going to be really light. And, yeah, I could be using Tim Holtz Distress Oxides or... what's his other one? Distress Inks. Any of the inks would work. You've just got to... It's not really working. You just got to realise that they are water reactive. So if you go with something over the top, this is an archival ink, and it's not going to move. I was being really subtle because I didn't want to have a lot of colour, and then it was too subtle. Actually, I like that. So it's just putting a bit of... Use my stencil. Adding a bit of depth in there, but not adding a lot of colour. Can't really see it there. Let's go a little darker. Let's go a bit up here. Put like that. This up here. So I'm just wanting to add a bit more of layers, but have them really subtle so they don't sort of stick out like a sore thumb. That makes sense. That's why these blending brushes are really cool. You can start off really light and then get a bit darker. Whoops, sorry if it's shaking at the table. So you can sort of see that there. I will take some close-up pictures because you might not be able to see this detail. So just holding the stencil and flicking it up. Can't see that. Let's go darker. It's getting there. So it's very subtle, but it's can be seen there. As I said, I'll stick some close-up photos on my Facebook page, Scrapbooking&Craft, and then I will also put them up in Hillbillies. I couldn't see that down there. I'm going to go in with a bit of pink. What's the worst could happen? Maybe go with some little pink dots. Oh, that's sort of adding, ooh, liking this dot stencil. Did I say that before? It's just putting dainty dots there. I've actually, the last couple of releases, made a lot of these sort of mark making stencils, which make it easier for people to put marks on your page because you've got a stencil to sort of guide you. And you've got to know when to stop too. But that's sort of made that not so plain. Whoops, that was probably a mistake. Actually, no. Let's put some more of those pink dots. I thought I went a bit heavy-handed. So it's adding a bit of subtleness to the background. Okay, let's stop and have a look. So even if you don't have the exact products at home, you can follow along with the same sort of techniques and have a bit of a play. And love it if you shared your... I love having a look at what people do. Sorry, page is on an angle, or the camera's on an angle. No, I think it's the camera's moved on an angle. Whoops. It's alright. I put my page on an angle so it looks straight. Am I happy? Am I going to stick? Am I going to add more stuff? What am I going to do? I was going to go over here with black pen to make it darker, but I don't think I want to now. I think I like it. I get to this stage and go, do I want to add more? Do I want to stop? I think I want to stop. The only thing I'm not entirely happy with is the paper up here. It would have been nice to blend it in a bit more, but I should have put a bit of white gesso over it before I put my napkin down in hindsight. I wonder if I could water down a bit of gesso. There's my spray bottle. And grab a baby wipe. And maybe no, I'm just going to take the watercolour off. Okay. Maybe not. Where'd those watercolours go? I might end up leaving it because I'll probably end up doing something I don't like in a minute. as I said, knowing when to stop is something you need to learn yourself. It's hard to teach because sometimes I don't know when to stop. I wonder how opaque that white watercolour is. I've never used it. Ooh, that might be what I want. Just want to knock that darkness of the text back just a fraction, so it's not like the first thing my eye sort of jumps to. But I'm sort of wanting to skip around the birds. I should have thought of that before I stuck the napkin on, but that's all about... Ah, it is. It's knocking it back a bit. See how it's not so bright? Well, my eyes, it doesn't look so bright anyway. I didn't think I'd ever use the white watercolour. I thought, what a silly thing to put in. And we'll just put a bit over. Perfect. That's the look I'm going for. Now it's not bugging me so much. Sometimes there's one piece on my art journal page that's just standing out too much, or just it's the first thing my eye sees and it bugs me, putting it in layman's terms. And if I can fix that one thing, I'm a whole lot more happier. So I'm hoping to come back and do another live tomorrow. Might be an art journal page. That's my sort of go-to easy thing. Could be a scrapbook page if I get inspired. We'll see. This release sort of is a bit more art journally with its words and shapes and stuff. But I'll definitely pop on sometime tomorrow. I'll post the time hopefully a bit earlier in the day. It depends how tired I am when I get home from tonight. And if I've defrosted from being out in the cold. So I'll definitely be alive. I may try to squeeze 2 in tomorrow. We'll see. I had a bit of a late start this morning, so I only managed to do 1. As I said, I'm going to try to do a bit more regular lives. It's just, some days I plan to do one and then the plans just go out the window. I think I'm liking that a little better. Let's go with some... Put some yellow in there as well, because I can't stop fiddling. Now I'm going to stop. Sorry, Alexa just brought some Lego over to me. Do you want to say hello to the peoples?
Hi.
That's Alexis. She's sorting Lego and she's found something that looks like Minecraft. Is that Minecraft? The blocky people? Oh, I got it right for once. Okay, much happy with that. I'm going to stop fiddling. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to walk away. Oops. I'm going to stick these down. And then I'll call it done. Where's my glue? Then I've got to clean up the horrendous mess I've made. So I'm just going to use some Couture Creations glue to stick... Whoops. My cardstock down. So you don't have to get glue everywhere. I just aim for the fattest bits. And this glue is really strong glue, so you don't need much at all. And I'm just going to make sure I cover up that little bit of a branch. And also connect it to this pattern paper here, so it sort of connects the top and the bottom of the page. That makes sense. Clear as mud, right? Oh, I've got stuff everywhere. And then she is going to sort of, bottom of her dress is going to sort of touch these 2 black bits here. So again, she's sort of grounded. So she's walking out in the forest amongst all her butterfly friends. This glue is nearly empty, so it's being a... So for the dress, I'm just going to put some blobs of glue here, there and everywhere. This glue does dry clear, so if any of it leaks underneath, you won't see it. Oh my god, look at my hands. They're a work of art in themselves. Rosie said, hello, Alexis. Oh. Seriously. I had something on my hand and decided to put it where it shouldn't, and then put a mark on my black piece of my black girl. My hands are terrible, Alexis. They're all covered in paint. We should convince Alexis to come and do a live with us one day, shouldn't we, again? Maybe she might come on tomorrow as a special guest. Maybe we could craft together. She's not leaping at the opportunity, is she?
Maybe not a full-out channel page, maybe something smaller.
Oh, she said maybe. Everyone heard you, Alexis. They heard you say maybe. We'll see. Okay, I think I'm going to call it quits. I think I'm going to call it done. I don't know whether you're able to see, but there is the detail in here, so it's quite subtle, which is sort of what I wanted to go for. So it's sort of heavy along the bottom and sort of heavy along the top. I don't know. Hey, I had fun. I played with my new stuff. I got my hands very filthy dirty, which I must go clean before we go out tonight. So thank you very much for coming along and spending some of your Saturday afternoon with me. And I can't wait to see what you create. And remember, if you're watching this on replay, if you want to post any of your projects you've made with any of my items, you can post them in Hillbilly Shenanigans, or you can tag me on Facebook as in Mel Johns, or tag me as Scrapbooking I think that works as well. But I am going to leave it there for today and let this completely dry. I'll take some close-up photos and pop up on the Facebook pages. Still, no words are coming up correctly today. It might be fun tomorrow. So thank you very much for coming along, and I will see you tomorrow sometime. Promise I'll post the time for the live a little earlier with a bit more notice than today. Maybe. Maybe not. Bye for now. I'll get rid of this microphone.